So we now officially start our annual General Assembly. So once again, please, official representative of members, sign the registry of attendance. All the other people are welcome to remain because the assembly is anyhow open, but we need to take record of the official participation. So I will be starting. Okay, so I have already welcomed you, and there is the remote representative, how can they declare their presence of attendance to the... Yeah, so if possible, write in the chat, I am Mr. John Smith representing the university of this big city in that country, and we'll consider it as an official record. Okay. So I have done it already. So the office staff is your, I can do it, but I mean, you already know this, but I can take this opportunity to ask you an applause for the entire staff. So please stand up, Vineke and Kit Van. Thank you. And Svetlana, which is assisting us remotely. Okay, so thanks also to Svetlana. And I hope you will get to know them better, starting your cooperation with Informatics Europe. Those of you that already are interacting with us, they know, but I hope that they will become familiar faces in the future. Okay, and this part I think is Kim. So Kim is a board member. We have not yet presented you, but is a critical leg of our association because he has the task of increasing the member. So Kim, the floor is yours.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to present the new members. I won't go over all of them. We have 16 new members this year, which is quite a lot. I'll just leave the slide on for a while so that you can read the first 8, and then we have the next 8 on the next slide. Traditionally, most of our members are universities, but what we also have right now, you see, for example, there is a German Informatics Society, so we also have now these National Informatics Associations, so we want those as members as well. We have a pedagogical school, pedagogical institute that joined. We have University of Applied Sciences, so we really, and then there was a remark I mentioned earlier, we are also open to companies, so we really are trying to expand our membership to more than just traditional universities. So these were the first 8, 8 more here. It was shown on a previous slide by Nuria that we have now reached by now like 160 academic members and 4 companies, and we're constantly working on trying to increase our membership because the more members we are, the bigger our group, the more impact we can have at the European level, the more visibility we can have. So this is basically the same slide that was shown before. We just want to highlight that traditionally we have been, this is also because how and where Informatics Europe was originally created. We had a stronger representation in Western Europe, but slowly we are trying to expand our reach to the Eastern Europe. So the numbers are still a bit lower on the eastern side, but we are slowly trying to cover the entire terrain of all the countries in Europe. And we're actually actively trying to expand our reach there to have more members on board with the help of, is Viral here? So there, Viral is sitting there. So it's me and Viral and the office who are constantly working very actively on trying to find new members. I would like to emphasize that this is hard work. because, well, we have these bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks, we have a meeting with the office to try to find out which new members we can get on board. We define some strategies, so a recent strategy, and that's why we're also expanding in the eastern side of Europe, is to really focus on that zone of Europe which was a bit less represented before. What we also try to do, a good way of finding new members is through personal contacts. What doesn't always work is just send a mail to some dean of some university who is not a member yet. If you don't have the personal contact, that's very hard. So this is actually why I'm mentioning this, is if you or one of your colleagues has some contacts, personal contacts with universities who are not members yet and you think they might want to become a member, feel free to reach out to them, mention Informatics Europe, and then after that we can take over. But this is really helpful. It's the best way to find new members. This has been a working a procedure that we applied. So for example, we did it last year with all the members of the board. We asked all the members of the board, look through all your contacts and are there people in your contact list that are not members yet? And this is also one of the reasons why we got 16 new members this year. So I would like to redo that again, but with all our members. If you know other people, please reach out to them or contact us. I know this person there. If we have the first introduction, often after that, it's easier for us to reach them because we have this personal contact. Okay. And finally, there's something else I wanted to mention is that, so we are growing as an institution, so there's always a risk, the bigger you become, that we lose connection with the actual members. So this is one of the reasons that first of all, we had this new session yesterday with the new members. So we did a first encounter, a small workshop, 1 hour discussion with the new members, presenting who we are, and also trying to ask them what they expect from Informatics Europe. What we will try to do now is on a 3-monthly basis, so every trimester, actually do the same with the existing members. To try to contact existing members, so not all of them at the same time, but make a selection of existing members, reach out to them to see if they are still active, to try to activate them, because I emphasize also what Enrico said earlier, the best, and what Nuria said, Informatics Europe is you. And if you can be active in the organization, we can do much more. So we much more prefer members that can be active, part of the working groups, and so on and so on. So this is also why we want to set up this thing. We have to define a procedure on which members to contact, but the idea is we are going to try to do that now. So in 3 months from now, have a small meeting with both new and existing members and see how we can mean more for them and what they can mean for us and how they can help us reach our common goals. Okay, I think that's about it what I had to say. So thanks a lot. And the next.
Okay, good afternoon also from my side. I'm Gregor Engels. I'm the treasurer of Informatics Europe. And after having heard about the many nice stories and the work we are doing, now comes the bad guy. And this is my task. First to show you that we are financially on a good way. If you look back to 2020 first, so 1 year ago, we of course did the official procedure and our financial report and the audit took place last year. And here are some details about this, that because we are an official organization, it was controlled by auditors. We have here a Swiss Zurich organization is doing this. So they checked everything, all the receipts, all the income, all the outcome. And it was a meeting then also together with the executive director and me. And so everybody was happy. We could answer all questions. There were only 2 or 3 minor questions. So everything is fine. So the final report of the auditors didn't find any irregularity, and it was stating that the finances of organization in 2020 comply with the Swiss law and the bylaws of the association. So this was, of course, an important feedback and report. But nevertheless, it's now your task to approve it. So you are, I said several times today, you are the organization, so you have to approve. Now we are in the situation that we have people in the room and we have people offline, so we will now collect the votes. How to do this? I've seen in the chat there already was a question how to do this, and we will explain to this in a minute. Before, I show you some slides, but I don't want to explain them because you got this information already in an email 4 weeks ago. So here you can see what are the revenues, what is the income and the outcome, what are the expenses. So many numbers here. Maybe important is that if you look at our bank accounts, that we let's say have a total cash of 344,000 euros. But nevertheless, if you look at this slide, and this is the important number here, there is loss of the period, so we lost something like 50,000 euros. Maybe you're now a little bit worried about this, but I can tell you, and we explained this already 2 or 3 years ago, that we was by intention, we wanted to make a little bit of loss, a little bit maybe now at the moment too much, but we, the amount we had on the bank account was a little bit too high for an organization like us. So we were asked also by the auditors to spend some money. And we did it, especially by extending the office. We have now 4 people in the office, and what we can see at the moment, we even need more than 4 people because they're really hard working, but we need this 4 people at least. So, but this invest was then, the effect was that in 2020, we had this loss of 52,000. Because when we started to invest in the people, and now we are benefiting from it step by step. Nevertheless, at that time, the loss was 52,000, but still we have an equity of 265,000. Before we come to the vote, of course, I would like to give you the chance to ask me, and maybe also to Nuria later, about this, the figures. So are there any questions here? Or if there are some in the chat, I would like to hear about this, about the financial situation. I look here into the audience, not yet. Is there any question in the chat at the moment?
No, there was a raised hand. I am asking now what she wants to ask. So we are not in the phase of having a question.
Okay, there's somebody in the process to ask something, yes? Maybe she was already trying to vote. Maybe I already start then to explain how we will vote.
For voting. Yes, the raised hand was for voting.
Okay, but now we come to the vote. So we are voting here, and in parallel we are voting online. And voting means that I will ask you whether you agree and you approve what was approved by the auditors, so that this is the correct financial situation, financial statement we presented here. So now if you approve it and you are positive, you have to raise, in this case here in the room, not the yellow hand, only the one hand, but in the online situation you have to raise the yellow hand. So we do it now. So I asked you, do you approve what I presented you here as the financial situation of Informatics Europe? Okay, now if you are online, then please raise your yellow hand the same way. We will make a screenshot of this, and then we will see who approved the situation here. People are counting. How many? Huh? 15 on site.
There are more.
You have more? Please again. Oh.
20 on. Yeah, with you 20 on the room.
20 here and online?
No, 16 here, 20 online. No, we are not 16 here.
Sorry, we have to do it again. How many are positive here? Sorry.
Fiorello? That's Fiorello? Sorry? Ah, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
19 here. Okay. So the next question is, who is against? Who doesn't approve it? So somebody daring to raise their hand now? Not here. Wieneke, is somebody against?
They are still
Okay, now, then we have to explain it. We are now ready with counting the positive votes. So please lower your hand so that we come into a neutral state. And then I asked again, is somebody against? Did we reach the neutral state, Wieneke?
No.
Not yet.
There is no abstain.
So we're still in the asking that is somebody against. That's easier. It's easier. So, okay, now I asked who will abstain, who will not say yes or no. Somebody in the room? No. Okay. Let's assume that you have been positive about this point, and that is proof that the 2020 financial situation. Okay. So this was the report about 2020, and now we continue with the current year and then also with the proposal for next year for the budget. And as you know, we have now a new excellent director, and Nura will present the current situation and then also the future.
So this is not to vote, it's just for your information. You have, this you have not received, because this is the current status as of September. This is not the end of the year. The end of the year you will vote next year. So the current status is that the revenues are, as you read there, 310,000 euros and 600. But there are still some more revenues to come. So the total revenues forecasted for the end of the year are 400,000 around, because again, it's a forecast. The forecasted expenses, the expenses we have incurred until September are nearly close to 250,000, but the total expenses we expect to have by the end of the year sum up 422,000. Again, it's a forecast. It can be higher, it can be lower, but this is the number we're working with. With that, we come to a total balance, I would say now, but it was end of September, of positive 61 or close to 62,000 euros. However, as I mentioned, we still have revenues and expenses to come, and again this year we would be negative. This is the current status of the year. I mean, it can be slightly less negative or slightly more negative. This we will see in December. Obviously, we're doing all the possible, everything we can do to make this positive. But this is the current picture. And this is the reason why we have sent you the proposal that we will explain in a minute. Again, this is not for vote, this is for information. So now between Gregor and me, we will present you the proposal and why. I mean, you have also received it, so probably you've already gone through it.
Yeah, the current situation is, as you can see, that we still have some money on the bank, but we are now, for the third year, will be negative, so we have to think about this. And thinking about this meant that we propose today, a small increase of the membership fee. And here you have to know that we didn't increase this since 2015. So the last 6 years it was always stable, always the same amount. And and maybe also important to know how this membership fee is calculated. So from the beginning, we try to be fair in the sense that we know that we have members from all over Europe. And we know that there are some differences in the available financial resources in the different countries. So we always started also from the beginning that we had different country zones. They are based on the national GDP. And this was one important factor. The other important factor was the size of the department, so that we have smaller and bigger departments. And so we said always that bigger departments should pay a little bit more than smaller departments. So, and the fact is that we didn't look at this GDP situation, and also at the, we didn't increase the fee the last 6 years. So now, to come into a more positive situation, we propose that the membership fees are increased. And you can see here that we propose an increase by 5%. That is not that much for most of the members. But we also looked carefully at the GDP. And this really changed a lot in the last years. So at the moment we have different zones, zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. And so looking at this again, we saw that a lot of members are in this zone 1 with a huge width of GDP. And so now we thought, again, in the sense to be more fair, that we split zone 1 in 2 zones, zone 0 and zone 1. And by doing this, the really rich departments from rich countries move to zone 0, while most of the members stay in zone, now in the old zone 1. So this means that some of the members will have an increase of something like 50 euros per year. Some others will have a little bit more increase, depending which situation they are, in which country they are, and maybe also because they grew in size of the department staff. Again now, I asked you, you got all the information via email. Do you have questions about this? Then we can discuss it now. Also, if there are questions on the web, then please ask me. Otherwise, we will then do the next step. The next step will be the voting. And our vice president already proposed not to do it again as we did it in the first round with the positive first and the negative last. Maybe I will then immediately ask who is against. And then do the positive things. Then we, the hope is by our president that when we have to count less. There's a question. By Simona. Yeah, this 5% will apply to all zones, yes. Like we continue to be fair, there are no exceptions. Every member has to, will then pay 5% more. Otherwise, okay,
sorry, I did not understand completely. So is it 5% for all countries?
Yes.
Is it 5%?
For each member, it will be an increase of 5% for all. In addition, we organize a little bit in a new way the zones. We have now a new zone 0 with the, I think there are 5 countries which are really then belong to this new zone of very rich people.
Then it's 5% plus a little bit more,
Yes.
or
yeah, it's 5% plus, yes, yeah, for all. Yeah. No?
For the zone 0, yes.
Also.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, it's 5% plus the move to zone 0. You mean this?
so 5% is for all
Yes.
members.
So it's around 50.
And then for zone 0, there is some additional fee.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
how much?
You can put the next slide, the other one.
This is a new overview on the membership fees.
Okay, okay.
And as you can see, we are speaking about, not about 10 thousands of euros. This is the annual fee for each year. And this means the Zone 3 departments are somewhere between 575 and 1150 euros, while the richer ones, then really huge departments, have to pay something like 3,000 per year. And we think that it is fair, but we can always discuss anything. But, and I think this richer country, for instance, I look into my department, whether we pay 2,500 or 2,700, it doesn't matter at all. It is more that we are convinced that it's good to be a member of Informatics Europe, and then we are willing to pay this. Any other question to this? Wieneke? No? No. Good. This means that we can vote whether you agree with this. When I started here, I said, I'm the bad boy. This is but I also have the task to take care of the finances and also of the that we can work in a good way in the future. And so this is the underlying reasoning for this. So now I asked you to vote if you are against this proposal we have here. So if somebody is against it, please raise the hand now here or the yellow hand on the internet. Wieneke, you have to tell me.
Yes, I have two hands. But one is still there since the vote from since the previous vote.
Can you ask?
I'll ask.
Yeah, and the other one is new. There's one new.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I have one question. Did you consider also other initiatives to increase the revenues?
Okay. We have seen in the beginning of this session, also in the session before, what we do. We do a lot of this additional services we're offering, and we try to increase it, and also to try to increase by this the income to Informatics Europe. We are also busy with contacting industrial companies to find sponsors for our organization. But all this, of course, was difficult in the last 2 years because of Corona, and we are not sure that we will, by this, really increase the income. So for the moment, to be on the safe side, we decided, or as the board proposed, that we make this small increase of 5% to have a little bit more income, so that we at least we come into the, we leave the red zone and come into positive numbers. You can be sure that we always in the board and the executive board speak about how we can improve the financial situation. Again, you know, all the people are sitting there, besides the paid people from the office, are volunteers, but we are fighting that we have more income. It's not easy. We are still in the way of building up a new organization. So we are thinking about new services. We are thinking about how to attract industrial participation and so on. So we do a lot. But this small increase of the membership fee, we think as the board and the executive board think it is needed for the moment. More questions, Wieneke?
They replied that one of the two who raised the hand was not and against, which is just there.
So there's one less. Is there still one against then? Or it would be fine. Okay, there's no hands at the moment, so nobody is against. So we can state this. Who is a positive? Abstention. First, abstention. First, President advises me. First, I ask for abstention. Somebody here who abstain? Wieneke?
I have one person writing now. My vote is in favor of the 5%.
This sounds positive.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bit out of sync with the vote, but we will manage.
Okay, no abstaining. Is somebody against? Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Then we assume that all the rest are...
All the rest are, we don't have to ask it. Yeah, okay. So, nobody against, nobody abstained, so this is positive. So this is accepted by by you. Thank you for your trust. I can tell you again that we do our best to improve the financial situation. It is a big fight and effort all the time, but I think we are in a good way, in a very good way. Okay, thank you.
So the other proposal that we sent you was regarding the industrial members, because we just voted for the academic members, but we also have industrial members, and as it's been mentioned already several times this afternoon, we are trying to gain more industrial members. I come from industry. I deeply believe that this organization is an asset for the industry. So I can promise you that we are working and we will continue to work on trying to onboard more industrial members who are interested in raising the quality and the voice of the education and the research in informatics. The current situation is that the industrial members, the industrial membership fee, it's 2,500 euros per year, no matter the size of the company. So our proposal, well, and also we know we have some big companies that are sponsoring some of our initiatives. For instance, Minerva and Best Practice in Education Award. They're both financed by Google and Microsoft. So this means that, in fact, the companies are not only paying this 2,500, but it's closer to the 10,000. So our proposal, it's not to talk about an industrial membership fee, but about the total dues, industrial total dues. And the idea is to not to have a fixed published table, because it's a bit complex. Some companies have the budget structure in fixed ways that even if they would like to pay for more for membership, they cannot, but they can pay more in sponsoring or the other way around. So in order to keep this flexibility, what we propose is that there is a board committee who is analyzing the applications for membership for Informatics Europe. So at this committee, we will discuss for each company that is willing to join our organization, which is the appropriate fee, depending on the size in Europe, right? So the idea, what we propose, is to fix a minimum industrial fee of 3,500, so it also increases for them, not only for the academic membership, but this is just the minimum. Our target is to be around between the 10 and the 20,000, depending on the company, and probably we do not manage to get this the first year. They need to know us. I mean, I think in academia, Informatics Europe is best known than in industry, so it has also a ramp-up phase, but I'm convinced that once they know what we're doing, we will be able to increase the income we can get from them. So the idea would be to fix this minimum membership fee, but complement it on a case-by-case basis with a sponsoring part. And obviously this sponsoring has to be not a specific activity benefiting the company. This is something different. These are services that we can provide for them, but it's initiatives like the awards that benefit the overall community. Are there any questions in the room? No? Bineke?
Yes. Why have size?
Well, this is set as now we have, I mean, we cannot involve the whole board in every decision. So how it works today, so there is no change there, is that there is a subcommittee of the board of directors who analyze the applications of the potential new members. So based on the criteria that have been set and approved at the board and that are on our webpage, We analyze together if a given institution fulfills this criteria and then is eligible to be part of our organization. And then we bring this to the board. We have board meetings every month. So in every board meeting, it's a point of the agenda, the new members. So it's not that the subcommittee will decide by themselves. So it will be proposed then to the board and the board will approve it. So it was maybe my mistake, I didn't express it properly. More questions? No?
When voting, please stick to the hands against, because it's, otherwise it's very confusing in the chat.
Okay.
Keep the against as the raising hands, okay?
Okay, so
No, I think that technically we have to call for separate vote. One for abstention, one for...
yes, yes.
So let's start with abstention.
Yeah, okay, so first abstentions, something in the room? Somebody in the room, sorry? In the chat?
No. Oh, yes, one abstain.
One abstain, okay. Against it, somebody in the room? Somebody local, virtually, sorry? Okay, so then I think we can close it with one abstention and the rest approves it, so it's approved. Now let me present you the budget. It already includes this increase that we just voted. Obviously, for the industrial dues, we only included the 3,500, so an extra 1,000 per current member, because we don't know which kind of new members we will get and which the size of the companies. But it's the same with the new members, academic members. Sorry. So this is the overview of the revenues. Should I go in more detail, or maybe I present it like that, and if there are questions, I can come back on the slides. So the total estimated or budgeted revenue is 544,300, and the total estimated expenses 522,667, which bring us to an estimated, finally, positive balance. Going back to some of the questions, or one of the questions saying, are you looking for more alternative incomes? Certainly we are. We will be working to try to have this balance even more positive, or I would say even better, to keep it at this level that we're positive, but to use this money to do even more activities. Because I think this is what's important about Informatics Europe, that the previous hour where we present you what Informatics Europe, what the community or what our members are doing, I hope that next year we can be in Hamburg presenting you many more initiatives, because we got the funding to make them work. So this is the proposed budget. Again, let's vote. Any abstentions in the room? Bineke, virtually? No abstentions. And anybody against it? Nobody in the room? At home? Well, at home or at the office?
No abstentions at the office or from the virtual participants.
So I think we can approve it.
Oh. I have one more question, Nuria. We have one question about the industrial members.
Yes.
The question was, how many new industrial members do we actually expect?
It's difficult to put a number. What I can say is that I started in end of March, beginning of April, as I would say, fully operational alone in May. And this was my main focus. However, organizing this summit where we're in, which is currently 3 summits in one, because it's the physical one, it's the virtual one, and it's the again activities that we'll have tomorrow and Thursday, has eaten a lot of the time of the office and mine in particular. But even though, I mean, having said that, I have already, sorry? They don't hear me. No? Am I being heard? Can you ask the virtually, am I being heard?
I do hear you as a virtual participant. Svetlana from back home says, I don't hear Nuria anymore.
Okay.
The others hear you.
Okay, okay, so it's just an individual, okay. Well, at least now you could see that, yes, Svetlana is also working. Even if she's not here, she's also helping us take care of that everything works. Now, so I was saying that I have started contacting industries. Some of the board members have started as well, but it's the same as with academic members. It's a process. They need to understand why they should become members or sponsors of our organization. So it takes time. But I am positive that next year we will have some industrial members.
Thank you. And as well, the question whether the industrial members also have voting rights.
Yes, if they are members, because not all the company, I mean, the criteria, it's on our webpage, and this is what we in the membership committee will apply. So if they apply as members, if they comply with the criteria that has been set for industrial members, they can become members. If not, they'll have to be sponsors. I mean, they can very well say we would like to support your organization, but we cannot become members. So we can have both.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly. We already have some industrial members. So we're not changing anything in this respect. We're only, I mean, the proposal was only related to the fee. We're trying to make it more equal because now we have some industrial members only paying the membership fee and others providing a big sponsorship. And I believe that we should also be fair in this respect and at least open the discussion with the industrial members. Okay. Any more questions or? Okay, so then I think
Okay, so thanks, Nuria. We now are at the final part, the board elections, where we have to take some vote. First of all, I would like to remember these colleagues that will be leaving the board at the end of this year. Asun from Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, which could not attend. Letizia, that is here, you can see, and she was in charge of the diversity activity in Informatics Europe. Ismail, that you have seen here, he was looking after the data analysis and reporting. And Jaak Vilo from University of Tartu in Estonia, also he could not attend here. So I would like to ask you an applause for these members that have done have voluntarily contributed the many days of their work to making our association stronger. Okay, so we have to refill these seats, and therefore, and not only these seats, so we have to elect 4 new board members. Then we have to re-elect other different 4 board members whose term expired at the end of this year. And then for other 4 board members that are members of the executive committee, we have to re-elect them and to reappoint them in their position. So it's the president, the 2 vice presidents, and the treasurer. You know, we have this executive committee, which is a subset of of the board that meets more frequently than the board, and try to do all the not day-to-day management, because this is done by the executive director, but all the things that are needed to be considered in setting the strategy. So we will now have 3 votes: one for the new board to elect, one for the members to re-elect, and one for the final position. So the new board members to elect are Premek Brada, that I think is here. So can you stand up so that anybody sees you? So it's a physical person, not a set of bits. Then we have Gordana, she is here, okay, from Chalmers University in Sweden. We have Manuel Carro, that is here, and he has been in the organization team of this event, so thanks, he already started working for us before even getting into the board. And the 4th one is Norbert Ritter, and you have seen already him. And okay, now I will ask these 4 people to please leave the room, because we have to take a vote, and so we have to follow the rule of election. But do not go away. I mean, it will not take too much time. Okay, so is there any comment on these candidates that you want to make? Okay, so we can pass to the vote. It is a single vote for the set of 4 people, otherwise we would be still here at 9 o'clock voting. Okay, so I will ask both here in the room and remotely, is there any abstention on this vote for these 4 new candidates? Is there any abstention? Not in the room, neither remotely. Is there any contrary vote for the election of these new board members? None in the room, neither.
None in the room.
Okay, so these are elected. Can you call them, and let's thank them for their availability with an applause. Okay, so thanks. As you can understand, the applause means that you have been approved. Okay, and then, okay, so this was the vote, okay. Now they proposed for their re-election. So Kim Mens, you have already seen him, that Dick from the Netherlands, and Pekka is sitting there. So Pekka will enter into action tomorrow morning. So you have not seen him already on stage. And Harald, you have seen on the first day. I don't know if he's still here, but okay, you know him. So now the proposal is to re-elect these 4 people for a 2-year term from January 2022 to December 2023. And once again, I please ask you to leave the room for the vote. Okay, is there anybody wanting to make some comment, some remark? Okay, nothing. So let's take the vote. Is there any abstention for the vote of this, for the re-election of these 4 members of the board? So no abstention in the room. No abstention. Status of Viorel Nigru mentioned in the material. I don't know what it is. Did we say something about Viorel in the material? No, I don't. So
There is a question from Laura about Viorel Negru. And it was said that he would be re-elected too. So that's correct. We also elect for Vioral Negro to lengthen the term.
For the next term?
Yes, his 2 years are also till the end in order to, for the next 2 years.
Okay, so this was in the material we sent?
Yes.
Okay, so if this was in material in this end, okay, so I'm sorry, there was a mistake, so we are re-electing 5 people and not 4, so sorry, it slipped, this mistake, through many eyes. Okay, so Viorel is, it was here. Okay, so Viorel is in the room, okay, so, okay. Okay, so consider that we have re-electing 5 current board members. Okay, so thanks for the very careful person that took notice of this. Is there any other remark? Okay, Savioia, I guess Savioia is the name. Okay, so thanks, Savioia. Okay, so if there is no additional remark, we can pass to the vote. Is there any abstention in the room? No abstention in the room, neither remotely. Is there any contrary vote in the room or remotely? Okay, then these 5 people, not 4, 5 people, and we will correct the slides. These 5 people have been reapproved. Okay, thanks. Okay, and now it's the final part that involves me, so I will leave the leading of this very final part to Nuria.
Yes. So we need to re-elect as well our executive committee. So the 4 members of the board who are also in the executive committee. So it's Enrico, you know him very well. Jean-Marc, you also saw him before. Elisabetta, and Gregor. So please leave the room. Virtually, they are all hands down? Yes. Okay, so let's start. Any abstention? None in the room? Virtually? No? Okay. No. Yeah, no. Against? Somebody in the room? Somebody virtually?
No.
Okay, so then we can call them in. They are approved.
Okay, so when one enters back in the room, there is always a little bit of suspense because you never know what can go on in the room. Okay, so any others? Oh, others. So tomorrow, the session we will be split again into separate events. One is the workshop that we organize together with the National Informatics Association, and we'll be focusing on 2 themes. One is a survey that we have done during the year about focusing on interdisciplinary degree program, and the other topic is how we can build better tool to support research evaluation. And this first workshop will be done here. And the other workshop is the UGAIN workshop, the cost action, together with WIRE, that is taken care by Letizia, and it will be downstairs. No. So the other way around. Okay, sorry, yeah, because actually the UGAINS has more participants than the other, most probably. Okay, so the National Informatics Association will be downstairs and the UGAIN will be here. And both no, the first one will start at 9, the other 9:30. So this is what's going on tomorrow. And then that's everything. These are our contacts, and we are available. Anybody of us, board members, office, please be in contact with us. Once again, you are Informatics Europe. So please try to make the association stronger and larger. Thanks to everybody.